Well, here we are. It's Friday. Let's see, what's the date? July 8th, 2022. Oh, I hope everybody had a nice 4th of July. We did. We had a bunch of people over 2 nights in a row, friends and neighbors one night, and then more friends and our kids on the 4th. And we cooked out. The grandkids and some of the smaller kids in the area were over. We put a slip and slide in the yard. I didn't even know they still made them, but my wife found one at a toy store, so we put that down. Folks went to the beach down the street here, and we had a bonfire in the area, and it was quite huge. And we have a legendary bonfire here every 4th of July where they stack up pallets on the jetty down on the cove and get it up to about 3 stories high and then light it. It's quite a sight. And they lit off fireworks, and it was just great. It was great. Perfect weather, and I hope everybody had a good time. What did we do Monday? Monday we cooked. We on the 4th we had a bunch of folks over and set up some things outside on the property, and did short ribs on the grill. Several 5 racks, I think, something like that. A lot of ribs. It was fun. It was fun, and thanks for indulging me and sharing that. I just thought it was. I hope a lot of you did the same thing if you didn't have to work or something. All right, now, this week, it was busy. This week, we put up a new video last night. It was a bit of a project because there was a lot of information into it, and it's on how to avoid buying fakes and copies, how not to get ripped off, basic stuff you don't, even if you don't know an enormous amount about Chinese art, some of the strategies you can employ when looking at an auction to give yourself a little bit of a reality check on what are you really seeing here, and why so many auctions are deceptive. We talked about the report card and how many auction houses get Fs and Cs and rank rather poorly, and why. And I think it came together pretty well. I was kind of happy with it, but it's fairly long. It's about 40 something minutes long, quite a few images and whatnot, and I hope it's useful to you. I really do. I think it's something that needed to be said, and I'm probably going to get some angry emails from a few auction houses, but we've gotten them before, and that's the way it is. The other thing was that we've uploaded on the global member pages today the weekly video. We looked at a few things. We did sort of a deep dive into the auction results at Christie's over in Paris, the Arts to Asia sale. They had some very nice results. I'm going to go over a couple of the pieces in this video just because I want you to see the kind of things that we talk about over there, maybe a little bit, and have a peek and see what the results were. I won't go through the wholesale because it was a fairly large sale, but it was quite successful, and they had some interesting things. As always, whenever they do auctions in Paris, you often get things that you don't typically see in the Hong Kong sales or the New York sales or the London sales. There's something about the flavor of the Asian art objects that are found in France that seem to be more unique, seem to have their own special category based on what their tastes are, and some awfully nice things. Alrighty, and let's see what else is going on. There's not a lot of stuff on eBay right now. There was quite a bit last weekend, but it was all fairly inexpensive stuff. But we've loaded up the global pages, and there haven't been a lot of auctions that have come on this week. It's July. A lot of auction houses take the month off. Europe gets a little quiet. But this will give you just some idea how much stuff we found. This is just in the U.S. It's fairly, there's a lot of Satsuma up there right now, if you like that sort of thing. And then in the European side and the foreign side, it's about the same amount. It's quite a few good things. On the American side, we added, there's a sale taking place that it's got some really good China trade paintings in it. So if you're interested in China trade, check it. If you're a subscriber, check it out. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention, because I know we have a number of Kutani buyers out there. I like, as you all know, I've done a video on Kutani. I think it's one of the most grossly underappreciated porcelain forms there is, because so much of it is is just commercial wares that were produced for export that aren't all that interesting and aren't all that intricately done, as many of you know. But there are classes of Kutani wares which are on a par with anything ever made in China. And that's the thing that's sort of like the elephant in the room. That's the sort of strange thing, is the best of the best of the Anami Kutani enameling is stupendous. And that's not an overstatement. This is a Kutani charger that's coming up for sale over in Europe, in England, at Roseberry's. This is a big plate. It's about 19 inches in diameter, but the detail on this plate is absolutely super duper. Really, really, really fine. If you're one of my fellow Kutani collectors, check this out. They've got a reasonable estimate on this, estimated 150 to 250 euros. This thing is 36 centimeters in diameter, so it's about 15 inches wide. Wonderful charger. And then this one is actually a pair. There are two of these that look just like this. These are also very, very finely done. Also at Roseberry's. This is the sale on the July 20th in West Norwood in the UK. It is these measure 46.8 inches. 46.8 centimeters rather in diameter, not inches. These are, but that's a huge size. That's a big piece of porcelain. They're about 19 inches in diameter each, and these also are superb. Again, you don't see, and they're made during the Meiji period. You don't see a lot of Chinese work of this caliber, of this quality, of this fine detail, these colors. It's no ceramic decorators in the world could do more with just a couple colors than Kutani decorators. On this, you only see really is red and gold. This is all basically just red and gold. That's all, and maybe a little bit of enamel shading. But it's just shades of reds and golds in different intensities, and this is the effect that a great studio in Japan was able to achieve. Just fabulous work. Again, the pair are estimated at £300 to £500. If you spent £2,000 on them, I'd say bravo, they're worth it. That's how good I think these are. So that's just my personal opinion, but I think that they are. If you're interested in Chinese and Japanese ceramics and you want an area that's incredibly undervalued for the quality, there is nothing more undervalued than fine Kutani wares. Nothing comes close. It's just breathtaking what you can get to build a collection around that isn't. You don't have to be a millionaire to do it. You get great things, and those are two examples that you're going to have to deal with shipping if you're not in the UK, but. I think the estimates and everything are so reasonable that the shipping will be incidental, maybe a few $100s to get them shipped. Okay, now, and that's what shipping costs, so that's the way it is. Let's see what else. The Christie sale. I want to go over a few of the highlights from the Asia Arts of Asia sale from the global pages, just because they were such wonderful things. And one of the things that I mentioned a few weeks ago when we did the first video on these sales, on the global pages, the global videos, I mentioned this teapot because there's a number of things in here that I mentioned because I thought they were so great. And this is maybe the best Famille Rose Qianlong period teapot in Yixing I've ever seen. It is stupendous. It's got feet on it. It's got this beautiful serpent spout with enameling underneath it. The figures in the landscape setting here along the balustrade with this craggy pine. Just the artwork is incredible. It almost looks like it was a photograph of some kind, and then it was just sort of wrapped around it. Beautifully done. It's got a lizard climbing up, or a chimera climbing up the handle, and then it has a reticulated ball finial top, which was typically what you saw in late Ming Yixing wares. They used reticulated balls on the tops of them, typically, and that's where that style came from. But this is a Qianlong pot. Absolutely loved it. It let's see, it was estimated at 15 to 25,000 euros. And it's funny because somebody sent me an inquiry about it. They said, "Do you think that estimate's out of the ballpark?" And I actually sat back and I said, "I'll be surprised if it goes for that little." And in the end, it went for 50,000 euros plus premium. So it ended up selling for about 65,000 euros, which is about $70-something thousand dollars, $70,000 roughly for an 18th century Qinlong teapot. But like I said, I thought this was one of the best ones I've ever seen. I thought it was stupendous. It's not a record for Yixing ware, but it's for enamel ware on Yixing, this was the best. The next thing was this lime ground Daoguan period vase. It was a nice vase. It was pretty big. It was 20 inches tall. This is a big pot, but beautifully decorated. Had a minor firing flaw in the glaze up in here. Didn't bother anybody because the quality of the work of this was just so strong. Had a Qinlong mark on it. A lot of people would say, yeah, look at the quality. Look how good it is. All right, but this was actually Daoguan, probably early Daoguan. I don't think this was a later piece. Probably right at the very beginning of the period. It was estimated at 80 to 120,000 euros. And it not only blew through that, it went up to 504,000 on the hammer, plus 30%, or 28% or whatever it is their premium is. So you're looking at a price all in and done at around 650,000 euros, or around close to $700,000 for a Daoguan jar. That's a strong price. But it didn't have much history. It was in a collection up until 1932 that was known, and it was held within the family after that, and it's now being auctioned. With that kind of provenance, whenever you see that kind of provenance where a piece was, acquired and stayed within the family since the 1920s or 30s, when those pieces come to the market, they always do fabulously well. And that's why in the videos, I talked a little about the fakes. One of the things they fake, these dishonest auction houses, they will post into them provenances and things of people who died or who collected a long time ago because of that very psychology, because they know how strong that is with people, because collectors are saying, well, it hasn't been in some dealer's shop for 4 years and they couldn't sell it, so they're dumping it in an auction. They're giving you the information, and Christie's is straight up on that kind of thing, so there you go. The next item that did awfully well was this really beautiful. It was about 18 inches tall, big piece, flambe glazed, Qinlong bottle vase or bladder form vase. But what color? What great color! Just absolutely glorious color. This is what really good monochromes do, and then when they put the flambe on it. This came out absolutely perfectly. It was marked on the bottom. It's let's see. There's the base of it, and there you can see the stamp. And they use that sort of gooey dressing on there when they finish them, so you get these rusted spots and so forth. But the mark is there, and it was estimated at 70 to 90,000 euros, which I thought was a pretty good estimate, a pretty strong estimate. Went right over it. It went up to 138,600 euros plus premium again, so you're up to about $160,000-$170,000 in U.S. currency. Very strong, very strong. And it's interesting because this is the prices that I saw at this sale. Seemed, from my perception, to be better results overall per lot and so forth than the most recent sales held in Hong Kong. And why that is, it may be that you have European buyers, people who are living abroad outside of China are becoming more interested in maybe taking this opportunity to collect, to get into it. So they're getting some price support and activity support from it. Then there was the Kangxi Femiver Rouleau vase, a beautiful example, beautifully enameled. I thought the estimate on this was pretty low. I thought it was a little bit soft, but the decoration, the enameling technique, and so forth on this vase was really good all the way around. There's some is a picture of the back of it, and you have a scene with a woman seating by an open window with precious objects on the table, bottle vase and incensers in a box and so forth. And on the floor below her in the same house is a young person getting his studies done and so forth with his teacher. This was estimated at 20 to 30,000 euros, which it's a pretty good estimate. But the decoration to me looked awfully good. Ended up selling for 73,000 euros plus the premium. All right, and then there was this very nice Hu period, Qianlong period, and I'm putting this in just to demonstrate again how strong the market is right now for very fine monochromes and flambe glazes, those single colored pieces predominantly. 20 to 30,000 sold for 75,000 euros plus premium. And then this is, I've looked at this a lot, and I think this maybe is one of the prettiest Yanghai Qianlong period plates I've ever seen. It was stupendous. I remember it was 15 inches in diameter. It's a big plate, and if you pull this in, this really shows you, what a great job that the enamelers could do when they wanted to. It has a Qianlong mark on the back in gold, which is significant, but the workmanship on here is absolutely outstanding. All the leaves and flowers are outlined. A lot of them are outlined with gilt, and then this very even, very very nice, very sort of glowing background, this turquoise that they use. The tone of that turquoise is great, and then it's sort of highlighted with overglazed blue enamels with it, and this very, very dense, thick red that they used to highlight the flowers and so forth. And the symmetry of the plate is just amazing. I mean, it's just all the elements are perfectly placed. This all has to be done, in advance of enameling it. They have to hand lay out all these patterns so that they don't overlap and don't collide. And whoever did it absolutely perfectly at the Imperial Kiln. It was estimated at 150 to 200,000 euros. Ended up selling for 415,000 euros plus premium. So you are up in the $540,000, $550,000 range for a plate. I think this was an absolutely great object. It looks like the kind of stuff we did the video on the Yuan Ming Yuan. This is the kind of stuff that got taken out of the Yuan Ming Yuan. And there's a picture of the bottom, nice, and you don't see gold very often. Gold was often used in the Imperial Palace when they were enameling, but just beautiful quality, beautiful quality, absolutely fabulous. And then there was this. I including this just because this might be, and I said this in the global. My dog is rolling on the floor over here. April, what are you doing? April, what are you doing? What are you doing? She's a very goofy dog. Here. There she is. That's April. Anyway, here we go. I put this in because I thought this might be one of the highest price hat stands I've ever seen. Maybe there have been some that have brought more, but this one is a really, really good one. Let me see. What's the size of it here? 11 1/4 inches tall. It's Jiajing marking period. Absolutely outstanding quality. The details on this, and this very soft sort of almost chiffon yellow ground that they put it on. Hold on a second, my dog is going wild over there. April, what you doing? You riled up. So it's an airplane flying by, probably gonna land on the beach. Be good. Put you on the plane. There we go. Yeah, so this is like one of the nicest hat stands I've ever seen. Just stupendous quality all the way down. Very, very finely worked. Just perfect. It's a standard size. There's nothing unusual about it. You just don't see hat stands from this period very often. People generally associate hat stands with late Qing. Well, here's one that's Jiajing period, probably done in the latter part of the period. There's the base. And it was estimated at 80 to 120,000 euros, which was a very strong estimate. They really liked it. And it went over that. It went to 189 plus premium. But superb quality. Again, always the quality is the thing that matters. And this I'm putting in because I had several inquiries about this, because of the warnings I've had on. I've been talking about the volumes of copies of transitional wares that have flooded into the market in the last 10 years is just stunning. And I keep seeing more and more of them. And somebody had seen one like this, and there was another one that was out there. At any rate, this form is a transitional period form. It's typically, they associate them with having been made. The form sort of evolved around the late 1630s, right up into the mid 1640s. This one happens to be dated, so it's easy to date. A lot of them aren't dated. This one's about 18 inches tall, beautiful quality. It was estimated at 8 to 12,000 euros, which is sort of an out-of-date estimate given what transition wares have been bringing. And it ended up selling for 69,000 euros plus premium, so it's up around $90,000 for one of these. And it wasn't that long ago that 8 to 12,000 euros for one of these was a strong estimate. You don't have to go back that far, but there's been such a massive amount of new appreciation for these for all kinds of reasons, and they're finding their way increasingly into collections. Collectors are more and more seeking these transitional wares out, the authentic ones. And as a result, of course, the copyists and Jing Chen are more than happy to help fill out the market a little bit, and so you end up with a lot of copies floating around, which is unfortunate. All right, so that's just all we're going to talk about there from those pages. On eBay this week, there wasn't a heck of a lot that closed that was all that interesting, to be perfectly honest. There was this from the Hall of Benevolence mark on the bottom, this nice bowl and cover with dragons on it. It was beautifully enameled. Nice groundwork on it and so forth. Late Qing example, very nicely enameled. And quite unusual. This bowl was pretty unusual. I liked it a lot. It ended up selling for $1,075. This was from San Francisco Antique. They're fairly new sellers. They've only got about 96 feedbacks, but from what I've seen, they have access to pretty good things. So we have them on a list. We'll watch them and see what they come up with each week. They may be just selling things that they're getting from a particular consignor or something. Who knows? And then it runs out, and that's the end of it. But so far, they've had some nice things. That's one of the things that they've had. Nice looking bowl and cover, very attractive. And then this really nice 18th century, probably Yongchen period quail bowl and under tray. Nicely enameled and decorated, sold for $331. Not a crazy price. It was a good bowl. It was a good bowl, and I the price was absolutely fine. And that was from some really good stuff seller over in the UK. And then what's this? The silk. This silk. I just put this in because it did pretty well. I like this. I like the asymmetrical appearance of it, with this open field up here, and then all the figures here along. It's like they're on the edge of a cliff or something. And I like the kids with the lanterns inside the balustrade, and the way they did this big scholar's rock. Thought that was very nice. And then people coming along presenting vases and another lantern and so forth, all framed up, ready to hang. Ended up selling for $520. Perfectly good. And other than that, on eBay last week, it was sort of just the regular, usual mix of Famille Rose bowls and plates, all nice things, a couple of tureens, that kind of thing. A lot of the stuff that was on there is closing now, this week and into next week. All right, because they were at the beginning of their 10 days on eBay. That's the duration most sellers pick these days when they do auctions. Go for 10 days. Why don't waste your time going for 7? And I've said it before. If you're going to sell at auction online, what you want to do is you do a 10-day sale and you start the auction either on a Thursday night or a Friday night, and that way it squeezes in 2 complete weekends over the duration of the auction, because that's when about 40 or 50% of eBay lookers look. They look on their weekends. So you pick up a lot more views and a lot more watchers that way. Anyway, it did fine, $520. And there are a number of things coming up this week. This vase is coming up. This vase actually sold a few months ago. Many of you will remember it. I talked about it. I thought it was a terrific vase. I don't know why it didn't get paid for. Here's the bottom of it. It's got an apocryphal Qin lung mark, but it is a 19th century Qing vase. Very nice enameling. Beautiful done. Beautiful quality. Lots of border decorations on it. I still like it a lot. I'm at a loss to understand why somebody didn't pay their bill on it. I think it went for about, I think it was around $1,500 or $1,800 or something. Here it is. It is good size. It's 24 inches tall. This is a big vase, big piece of porcelain, and it deserves to get back. It deserves to make a couple of $1,000s. That's a nice pot. Nice pot. It's not broken or damaged that I'm aware of. It looks fine. Go figure. All right, and then this is a nice little, there's a couple of pieces of Satsuma coming up. This I like boxes. And this is a very nicely enameled bit of Satsuma. And it's decorated on the inside here, and then, of course, the outside, the lid and so forth. There's a picture of the bottom of it with a basket of flowers. Very, very pretty. Let's see, what's it up to? It's up to $221. It closes on Sunday on eBay. All right, and it'll be on the newsletter page, as always. And then there was this. This is something from, who has this? Migulari has this. A Hongshan marked planter. It's probably Republic period. But very nice quality. I always like planters. Somebody said, why do you always talk about planters? Because they're functional. You get one of these, you put a plant in it. You have something beautiful to look at. You have a beautiful plant. You have the, nice flowers in it. This is nice. It's got precious objects on it. It's got brush washers and bulb trays and vases and all this other stuff. The glaze looks very, very good on it. Here's the side of it. There are the two marks. It's got a slight, it's very hard to see, but there's a very faint glaze line here. Looks like it probably maybe is just in the glaze. If you want to know more, get a hold of him and ask him. He's very careful about, this seller is very careful about condition, and he's pointing to one here, and I suspect that's another glaze line, which they don't bother me. As long as it isn't a major crack going through the piece, I don't really care if the piece is beautiful. I'll always take something that's beautiful and rare over something that's dull and common but perfect. I'll take the imperfect piece if it's really, really great every time. All right, and here you have the enamels and the lanterns and all this business. Nice planter. This is a really, really nice planter. It's up to $350. It closes Sunday. Ought to close at between $1,000 and $1,500 fairly comfortably, maybe even more, depending on who's out there and who's collecting Republic wear items. All right, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And then there's this Kangxi period. Looks like it's a hookah base from what I can see of it. Something they would have made for the Indian or the Muslim market for water pipes. It's up to $387. Closes Sunday. This is also Migulari's got this. Nice looking piece of porcelain. Very nice. Should get up to $800 to $1,000, somewhere in there. And then there's this, the Antique Co-op. I don't know who these sellers are, but this is from all indications. Here's the picture of the bottom of it. Pretty good looking 18th century cafe au lait bowl, probably Qianlong period, or some would say Kangxi, but I'm not sure if you can say that given the mark. But it's beautifully done, yellow ground, sort of a mustard yellow ground. I like that, like French mustard, with a femme decoration of all the different precious objects on the piece. Nicely done, nicely done. And the photographs are pretty good, even though a little distorted with the light, but there you go. What's it up to? It's got 8 days to go. You put this on I wouldn't put it on a watch list. Leave a bid, because you forget otherwise. Just go and leave a bid. It's just at $14. It should bring. They didn't put much information about it. They just said Chinese femme bowl, because maybe they don't know how to date it, or they don't want to try. It's 6 inches in diameter. It looks like it's in really good shape, and ought to bring pretty comfortably $400 to $600 anyway. All right. And then this, a pair of Qinlong period export pots or bottles, guglets, with garlic neck tops on them. Nicely done. You've seen this pattern before. I always associate it with export wares that you're likely to find in France. Interestingly, my own mother had an entire tea and plate service, a pretty big service of this stuff in this pattern when I was a kid. And she bought it in Boston from an antique shop up on Beacon Hill in the late 50s. And it was almost a complete set, and she paid $15 for it at the time. And she thought it was. She told me once she thought it was an awfully big expense. And it was an amazing set. At any rate, this is very nice. It's up to $173. The price? These should end up selling for $350 to $450 per vase, somewhere in there. And then lastly is this memorial plate for the platter for the export market for England, probably. Nice crest on it. Doesn't look too worn. The cobalt decoration is good. It's 18th century with a cafe edge on it. This will be in the newsletter page this week. This is who's the seller? This is Eagle 2010. Yeah, they come and go. They sell on here and then they seem to disappear for a while. I don't know why, but they seem to be pretty knowledgeable and they get nice things. It's up to $151. How big is this platter? 30 inches. Okay, 30 centimeters rather. Okay, so it's a foot long. It's a medium-sized platter, but nice looking. It will look fabulous hanging on a wall. Looks like it might have a little glaze blemish there at the top, right in here, but not a big deal. But this is nice. It's very good, high-quality decoration. There's always on these things. We'll see what it ends up bringing, but it should bring $350, $450, something like that. It's nice looking. All right, and there'll be a bunch of other things on the newsletter page this week. So check it out over here on the Bitamount site. Just go there, click newsletter, and it'll load for me. I might have hit the wrong button. At any rate, no, there it is. Okay. Check that out. All right, and have a great weekend. And if you haven't subscribed to us yet here on YouTube, please do. Leave a comment. Give a thumbs up. Love to hear from everybody. Like I said, I always read the comments. I don't always comment back because I feel like for some reason I'm interloping. I don't know why. But anyway, I love to see what people have to say. We do hear what you have to say. Oh, somebody asked in the comments before I forget. On the comment section of the video we did on fakes and dishonest auction houses, somebody asked me what I think of Oak Ridge. They're an auction house. They handle Chinese things and so forth. I have mixed emotions about Oak Ridge because in some areas they name things. I think we gave them a C. We gave them a D- at one point because they were selling a lot of fakes. The deal with Oak Ridge and other auction houses, when you look at the report card, those of you use the report card, if they get a C or something like that, sometimes there's this thing where you'll look at their listings and they'll have everything, all kinds of things dated very precisely. 18th century, circa 1770, this and that. Very, very accurate descriptions. And then suddenly they get to something and it's obviously a fake. And they just get real vague or don't say anything about the date. And that infuriates me. If you know something's modern, say modern. Don't play the game that, well, I'll let you decide how old it is. They shouldn't. An honest auction house will not do that. Okay? And there are a number of auction houses that I know they know what the stuff is. And they refuse to say what it is. And they're just opening themselves up for reputational damage and headaches later. Skinner's in Boston. I hate to name Skinner's because they're near me and I know the people there. But their Asian department has a long history of putting things up and not saying modern. And Skinner's has wanted to be one of the bigger auction houses in the country. They'll never get there, and certainly not with their Asian behavior, but Asian auction behavior. But they willfully ignore saying this is a modern piece. They want you to sort of be their mind reader. And they're not the only ones guilty of this. They'll just leave no date in there. They'll just say Famille Rose vase. And maybe it's old, maybe it isn't. You know, I'm not convinced that they even always know themselves, but they seem to know more than they let on. And that infuriates me. Oak Ridge does this. There's a number of auction houses that when they have a fake to peddle, they just leave the age line blank. Or they'll just lie about it and say it's Chenlong or Kangxi or Wanli or pick a period, you know, anything you want. And they shouldn't do that. And that's something, because Oak Ridge does get good things. I've seen them sell some very good things, but they've also sold fakes. And they don't, when they mature and when auction houses get to the point, I don't want to go on too much, but when auction houses get to the point where they can honestly say, this is what this is, or we honestly don't know, and we can't say how old this is or whether it has any age at all, but some sort of indication of age. It's supposed to be in the antique business. And if you're selling something and you know you're selling something that's questionable or brand new and you don't say it in the listing, you're dishonest. Period. If you know it's not a Qing something, and you know it's new, and you just say possibly Qing, or leave the dating aspect blank. If you're an auctioneer watching that and you do that, you're a dishonest auctioneer. That's all there is to it. You're just not honest. All right, you're situationally honest, I suppose, or situationally dishonest, depending on what benefits you. I think it's sort of disgraceful. At any rate, here we are, and it's the end of the video. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll be back next week. We got some other videos we're working on, and thanks so much for watching and subscribing and so forth. And if you want to see more stuff like we talked about with the Christie sale, join the global pages. It's $1 a week. It's not a big deal, but we use the money to keep the sites going. It's how we pay for all of it. So it is very helpful. Alrighty, thanks a lot. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, everyone.